Hello, welcome again, welcome again. It's been a while. Did you miss me? I'm gonna tell you why you missed me. You missed me because you have not subscribed yet to my channel. Of course, I'm kidding. My name is Chibuzo, and I want to welcome you to this beautiful edition of my experience. Now, I titled this my experience because that's not the title, but it's under the series of my experience because that's what this channel is all about, sharing my personal experiences, what I've witnessed or what I've observed, and then having you enjoy riding on this roller coaster movement of life. So I want to welcome you to this edition, and today I have a very interesting topic. The real gist is right at the end of the video. So hey, don't be too quick to skip. Don't be too quick to skip. Let's do this. So today I would like to talk about something that happened over 1 week ago. Why do I want to bring this interesting occurrence to you in this my platform? The reason is quite simple. I want us to think. I want us to dissect together. I want us to properly engage in this, and then at the end of it all, you can tell me exactly what you make out of it. All right, so I titled this one My Experience with a Chinese Man. A case of subconscious bias, innocent curiosity, or subtle racism. I want to start this video by putting it out there very plainly that Chinese people are wonderful people. This is in no way trying to rubbish or tarnish the image of people from a particular nationality. That's not what I'm doing here. As a matter of fact, my landlord is a Chinese, and I tell you what, he has been the best landlord I've ever had since I moved into this country. So I cannot be living, enjoying the beauty of a stable and a comfortable accommodation that was provided to me by a Chinese landlord, and then I'll come here and say something bad about Chinese people. No. The point I'm trying to make is that obviously some people might misunderstand this video. Some people might call this campaign of calumny, or that's the point of this video. After what we're doing, you can tell me what you make out of it. Totally tell me what you make out of it. Don't hold back. This is a platform where we grow together, where I accept criticism, and where I understand that a person is usually not perfect in just their own eyes, from just their own perspective. So this is just putting it out there that Chinese people are amazing people, and the few I've worked with till date, they are amongst the most beautiful and very welcoming people I've ever had to work with in my life, and I'm thankful for that. So this is in no way trying to push out a bias about Chinese people or about what I think about Chinese people. This is basically just explaining an event that happened and bringing it together with something I've already seen before, something I've already heard before, and then asking you lots, what do you make out of it? Just like a gist. That's it. So it's not that deep. If you're a Chinese person watching this, this is just an observation. This is just an experience. Beyond that, there is nothing else. So don't go thinking I'm trying to rubbish anyone or any group of people from a particular nationality. That's not what we do here. So I want us to start first by understanding what is the meaning of subconscious bias. Yeah. When we talk about subconscious bias, we mean automatic associations, judgments, attitudes we hold about people that operate within the space of our subconscious awareness. That is attitude, associations that we hold about people that operate within what? Not within, the outside of our consciousness. That is a part of our mind we are not very conversant with. We are not even aware that this is going on, but it's going on and something is happening. I think human mind is quite powerful, that even when you don't know that something is going on, something is actually going on. Even as we speak, even as I talk, something is being processed, and that's how powerful the human mind is. So there is a part of our mind that we do not fully understand. There is a part of our mind that we are not usually very aware of. That's the subconscious, hence subconscious bias. So we are aware, but we're not fully aware of that. And that place is somewhere where a lot of things can grow, can germinate. And when those things grow, it forms the basis of how we see life. So when we talk about subconscious bias, there are so many factors that can influence subconscious bias. One of them being the background and upbringing of a person. Obviously, we are shaped by our society. If you studied political science, or if you did any social sciences course, you should have heard about, or you should have seen somewhere at least about, the nurture and nature debates. That is how our society, how we get affected, how we get impacted by the society we live in. Is it necessarily the society shaping us, or us shaping ourselves based off what we've learned from the society? Or is it just both of them working together? But that's not what I'm here to discuss, basically. So I'm just saying that when we talk about subconscious bias, there are several factors that can influence that, and one of them is background and upbringing. Obviously, before I moved to the UK, my sphere of knowledge, everything I knew was limited to either what I saw on the internet, what I saw in Nigeria, or what I heard from somewhere. There was a sort of open portal that I only got to access when I moved to this country. Yeah, and that's how life is. So what I'm trying to say is, there are portals you will not access until you make a certain move, until you get to a certain place where those portals exist. That is natural, and it's not about comparing UK and Nigeria. That's not what we're doing here. For example, people that were also born in UK, there are aspects of life in Nigeria that they are not even aware that this exists. They might have heard of it, but until you've lived something, until you've experienced something, I don't think it's right to assume you know that, right? So that's exactly what I'm talking about. So by background, by experience, by cultural environment, all of these things are very interwoven. They're very related to one another, and as well by personal experiences. So subconscious bias can also be formed by personal experiences, just your personal experience, what you experienced, you alone. For example, there is a high chance that the subconscious bias of a person who has traveled around the world, it's never going to be the same with that of a person who has just been to quite a few places. So personal experiences, background, upbringing, cultural environment, all of these things can shape what we make out of our perspective of life, and this is where subconscious bias can come in. For example, I remember some time ago, last year, I went to somewhere very beautiful, a comedy show, with someone very dear to me, and they asked me, "Hey, what's your name?" And I told them I'm Lancelot. They were like, "Whoa." The first question was, sorry, what's your real name? And I said again, I purposely did that, my name is Lancelot. And they then went like, "Is that your natural name? Is that the name you were given at birth? Is that your real name? Like, we are quite surprised. Why are you answering Lancelot?" So obviously, I gave them what they wanted to hear. It wasn't my real name, blah 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 blah, or it wasn't my natural name or whatever. But that's not the point. The point here is why did they immediately assume that because I look a certain way, I'm not allowed to answer Lancelot. It's not normal for me to answer Lancelot. You see where subconscious bias comes in? That's one classic example. Those things we do without even knowing what we're showing, but we do them. And when you now take time to ponder on what has happened, you begin to see that there were some signs of, some bit of subconscious biases in this, right? So another good example: black sheep, have you any wool? Yes I, blah 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 blah. If you know about sheep normally have wool, both black, both white, it doesn't matter the color. Most sheep do have wools. So why the assumption that because this sheep is black, you have to ask, have you got any wool? Are you getting where I'm going? Yes. So, and when we talk about subconscious bias, there are many types of subconscious bias. It's a very long dissertation or topical discussion that I could basically go on and talk about for as long as possible. But that's not what we're here for. We're getting somewhere. So I just want to pick the most common type of or types of subconscious bias. One of them is what we call the halo effects. HALO, halo effect. When we talk about halo effect is simply generalization based on a single positive trait, something most of us are guilty about. You see someone from America, for example, behave in a certain way, show you that they are polite, and then that forms a yardstick of how you see Americans. Well, Americans are very polite because that one person showed politeness. Beyond the person's politeness, do you know anything else about them? Do you know attitudes they portray when not under the spotlight? Do you know their background? Do you know their belief? Just because of that one person. Oh, I met an American and she was so polite. I think American people are generally very polite people. That is an example of the halo effect. Generalizing easily because of one positive trait. And then on the other hand, we have the Horns effect. Horns is spelled as Horns. Horns effect. That's basically the opposite of halo effect, which means generalizing on a particular thing, group of people based on one or more negative traits. In Nigeria, for example, we all know, unfortunately, that banditry, when we talk about banditry, the first people that come to mind, or that comes to mind, are the Fulani headsmen. So, because of that, once you're from the Fulani sect, you're being seen somehow. There is a type of way that people begin to see you. That's the Horns effect at play. Even when you're a good person, even when you're not among those causing insurgency and stuff, just because of that association, that generalization, that negative trait, that one negative trait that people from your side has been known for, you are automatically associated as one of them. That is hasty generalization. So I'm showing you this so that when we delve in deeper, you can see how subconscious bias can play into, or had to play into, what I experienced, either from my side or from the side of the Chinese man. So I like to establish the background of what we're doing, and I believe the background knowledge basically, and I believe that's what we've done now. And again, we would like to ask ourselves, what is the meaning of innocent curiosity? Innocent curiosity is simply what it means: fascination about something with an open mind. Not because you have an opinion about that already, but that thing really interests you and you would like to know more about it. And your curiosity, your inquisitiveness is not, your inquisition rather, is not based on, I have something in mind and I want to discover if this is true. It's usually from an open standpoint. I'm fascinated about this person, I'm fascinated about this group of people, I'm fascinated about these things, and I just want to learn more about it by studying it, hoping to find more to inform and grow my knowledge. That's one. And then the last one in terms of the categorization of the experience I had is subtle racism. Subtle racism is simply secret or casual racism, which the everyday actions or inactions of a person portray. Do you understand? When we, for example, make racist remarks and then laugh about it, and then when somebody, the person that the remarks are being made against, or the person who took offense because of that remark, when they now point it out, hey, I don't like this, I don't know what's happened here, and stuff, the reaction will now be, oh, I was just joking, it was just a joke, I was just joking, I was not even serious, right? Yes, so the reactions will be like, I was just joking, it was just a joke, but you made a casual remark that a person found offensive, because actually those remarks were offensive, but because you didn't intend to, you just resort to the next best thing. Oh, sorry, I was just joking. That's an example of subtle racism. So when it comes to subtle racism, is a little bit closer to subconscious bias phenomenon, and basically it talks about, it's usually unintentional. It's usually unintentional. People who portray subtle racism don't even know that they are doing that. They don't know. It's usually those at the receiving end that sort of at the end of the day comes explains that this is what's going on here, and this is what I feel about this, and I don't feel so comfortable about this, and then I'm sorry comes in from the other person, and it was just a joke. So it's basically those little, sometimes big actions that people portray that shows racial prejudice, that most times they don't know that those actions are showing racial prejudice. And the problem is, it does have the same effect as normal racism. That's the thing. There is no jovial way of discriminating. No. Racism is racism. No matter how you embellish it, no matter how you overrate it, no matter what you put on it, racism is racism. Even when people who are at the receiving end of racism laugh about it, it does not necessarily mean they are happy about that. In fact, that's a different topic where we can discuss about how people react to racism different. So, having understood and established this background knowledge about what I want to talk about, we can delve in deeper. And I want to say that first thing, one of the first things I've seen on TikTok was a certain man who was just walking, a black guy who was walking across one of the streets of China, or in China, and everybody was looking at him. Everybody was staring at him, like everywhere he goes, the people's stare just follows, not looking, staring at him. So this guy, I've forgotten the name of his TikTok page, he just came out and he was like, why are people looking at me like this? Because in this part of China, they are fascinated about blacks. Some of them don't even believe that blacks people does exist. So to them, they have just seen a black angel, if you want to call it that. And I was very fascinated about this. Is it like they don't watch the television? They don't see everything that is going on? They don't read things online? I mean, again, a question of what they have experienced. Subconscious bias coming in from my end, I suppose. So, and then I've also had an acquaintance, someone who stays in China. Unfortunately, we've lost contact. He once told me that he believes racism is very rife in China, and unfortunately, he has been at the receiving end of this. But he has also been at the receiving end of a very strange reaction when people saw him. He mentioned the city, which I'm not going to mention the name, And he said that when he went there, people stared at him in a way that made him wish he could just disappear into the ground, because he could not understand what was going on. Why were the people looking at me like this? At the end of everything, he understood it was because he was the only black person around that vicinity. That's why they were looking. So were they looking based on fascination, or based on innocent curiosity, or based on racial inclinations? Like, we've seen someone that looks like what I don't know, so let's just watch this person. It's up to you to judge. So then, just about a week ago, I was getting ready for church, and there is this Chinese man that usually comes around my place. He's a handyman, a very good one at that. He usually fixes things that are broken and stuff like that. So I think it was one of those days when he came to fix something, and I just walked downstairs to get water to drink, and shockingly, immediately he saw me, he beckoned on me, come, like, come close. So I thought he wanted to say something to me, and then he just pulled out his phone. In the phone, he was on call with someone that looked like his wife or a relative. I don't really care. I don't know what the person was to him. And then he just started showing me the face of the person, and I was seeing the person and the person was seeing me. And at first I thought he just probably wanted me to just say hi to this person, even though it was already cringe and awkward being on a video call with someone that I've never met anywhere before. So I just waved hi. She didn't wave back. I waved again hi. She didn't wave back. And then I wanted to leave because I didn't understand what was going on. So the next thing that happened was this guy started video recording my skin. That is, he just brought the phone this way. I thought it was, initially I was like, what's going on here? And he just continued from my hand to this other hand to my face. So I was frozen there. I didn't know how to react. I was like, I don't know if, he's an elderly person and I don't want to come across like a rude person. I didn't want to be insulting in any way. And I had to excuse myself from there. But before I left there, he said something. He said, this person, that's because I tried to ask what's going on here. And he said, this person I'm showing you does not believe that black people exist. She's never seen a black person before. So I'm just showing you this. And yeah, that was what happened. It's not a long story. And it was a small experience that I felt like I needed to share to you guys. So I was wondering ever since then, what happened within those 2 minutes, within those couple of minutes. I've never been in a situation like that. And the reason why I stayed there for up to 2 minutes was because I was frozen. Like, I had a brain freeze. I didn't know if I should just walk away or say something. I didn't know if I should feel embarrassed, if I should feel racially discriminated against. I just didn't know if I should feel shocked, if I should be confused. I didn't know what to feel in that situation, in that instance. That's why I froze there for about a couple of minutes. So that was what happened. And ever since then, I have been thinking. I took a whole week to think, what exactly should we call this? Now that you've known what subconscious bias is, now that you know what innocent curiosity means, and now that you understand what subtle racism connotes, it is my question, or here is my question. What do you make out of this experience that happened? Do you think the subconscious bias was from my end or from the end of the Chinese man? Do you think he was just fascinated? If he was fascinated, was it not enough to just show my face? Why did he have to also show my skin? This is my fresh skin. What do you make out of it? That was the experience that I had. And yes, I've been pondering over the course of a week to decipher mentally what this meant. And unfortunately, I've not been able to find the right answers. So I want to know what you think. I want to know what you believe. I want to know what you make out of this small experience, true life experience, because it actually happened just a week ago, right? What do you think about that? Do you think it was subconscious bias? Do you think it was innocent curiosity? The Chinese man and the person he was on call with were all fascinated by me? Do you think it was just a subtle way of reminding me that I look different and I look awkwardly, stupidly different? By the way, I'm very proud of my skin color. Black don't crack. I'm just narrating my experience. That's it. I also want to use this opportunity to speak very, very briefly on a trend that has been going on online. If you've been following, if you are very savvy with Nigerian internet space, you must have seen the trend that is going on. It's called hashtag justice for Elizabeth Ochanya, or just hashtag justice for Ochanya. Ochanya was I think 13 years old girl who was unfortunately sent to her auntie's place because of economic situations. Her parents couldn't afford her upbringing and stuff, so she moved to her aunt's place, where unfortunately the husband of the aunt and the brother of the aunt molested, sexually abused her, raped her for nearly 7 years, just around 7 years in a row. The worst part, Elizabeth spoke up when she was alive. She made pleas. She disclosed what was going on, which was tremendous courage on her part, because I'm a mental health practitioner and I know from experience that people who have been through trauma, it takes quite a lot of courage for them to come out and speak up. And for this girl to do that was beyond commendable. But unfortunately, as always, Nigerian epileptic justice system failed her. Now the perpetrators of this very heinous and bastard act are still alive. And not just that they are still alive, they are still walking the streets of wherever the heck they live. What that means is the society is not a safe place as long as people like that continue to walk freely in the streets. So what I'm just begging or pleading here is for you to just continue to tag, if you've been doing that already, hashtag justice for Ochanya. And if you've not done that before, you can put in the comment section hashtag justice for Ochanya. Ochanya is spelled as Ochanya. Justice, hashtag justice for Ochanya. The idea is to spread more awareness, to continue to make noise, to continue to do as much as we can do using the instrumentality of social media, to see and to hope that someday justice will be served. Unfortunately, the girl is no more. She died after disclosing what happened to her and everything, and the justice system of Nigeria failed her. They did fail her, which was very tragic and sad. But we have the onus is on us to use what we have now, and that's social media. Let us continue to raise awareness. Let us continue to speak up against rape, molestation, sexual exploitation of any kind, especially when it comes to our young girls. Girls deserve to live and enjoy the safety of the environment without harm, or without any danger, or without any fear. But when predators like the ones who did the crime against the crime that was meted against or meted on Ochanya are still there, the society generally remains unsafe. So let's continue to spread the hashtag, let's continue to spread the word, let's continue to put it out there so that the powers that be will begin to take notice That is, if they are not already taking notice. Predators like the ones who committed a heinous crime on Ochanya need to be taken off the streets. They need to be taken off the streets because they don't belong here. As long as they are within our society, our children, especially our young girls, are not safe. So what can we do? Continue to put our voices together by spreading the word, spreading more awareness, and hopefully Ministry of Women Affairs, Ministry of Human Rights, anyone or any group or any organization that is meant to take up cases like this will rise to the occasion and do what they're supposed to do. Ochanya may be late, but her real legacy will be in ensuring that justice is served, even though she's no longer here. And don't just scroll past this and say because it's not someone who's related to you, you have no business with that, it's not your sister. Remember that I think I've done a video about that before. The evil you don't root out, the evil you don't remove today, if it doesn't come back to stare at you right at your face today, it will stare right at your children's faces. So it was Elizabeth Ochanya a few years ago. It could be someone else before you know it. Some children may already even be passing through the same thing as I speak. So what we can do is to continue to raise awareness and to speak up against that. Hopefully, powers that be take this up and justice is served sooner rather than later. My name is Chibuzo once again. Thank you for joining me. I will see you again in another edition in a time not too far away. Remember what I always say, you only live once. You don't have a good enough reason not to make it count. So go out there and make it count. See you later. God bless you.